Hi everyone, welcome to Ardejob Webinar. Um, as we wait for other people to join in, I'd love to give you a brief run through of what Ardejob is and what we do. So Ardejob is a community of Android developers platform that makes it easier to get Android remote jobs, free resources, and free mentorship from experts. We are a community, a like-minded community that brings Android developers across the USA, across Africa. We hope to make it global soon, but across Africa, we bring people together with like-minded ideas and talk about certain things. So why did we start our day job? What made our day job start? I'm gonna go back to Wisdom to give you his background story and
All right.
how our day job started.
All right. Thank you, Asha. Like you all know, I'm Mokota Wisdom, the leader of Ardejob. Yeah, the reason for starting Ardejob was very just to achieve a very simple goal, just to make it easy for Android developers to get remote job easily and also have free mentorship. Yeah, in the past, I've had some friends offline and online, and most of them have reached out to me also to get to know the reason why they've not get past some remote job interviews. And it's been like this for a very long time because we have so many developers that are experts, intermediates, and they are ready for jobs, but it'll be difficult for them to get jobs. So the essence of a day job is just to make it easy for them to get this job, get closer to the recruiters, and also have free mentorship from the experts, because most of the intermediate and expert guys that are good in some other aspect of software engineer, they make some mistakes. So it would be nice to have them closer together and they will share ideas and that would help them groom and grow up. So that's the main reason why I and Aisha started Ardejob. Thank you. And I give the mic back to Aisha.
Okay. Okay, so that's a little background story on why we started a day job and the little reasons why a day job is here today. So interestingly, so what do we do as a day job? We just recently rolled out a mentorship form. Pardon me if you hear a lot of noise from my background, but we just rolled out mentorship forms. So if you are a engineer or you're working at a certain place, at a high place, I would love if you volunteer to mentor or starting developers. We also provide a platform that makes it easier for Android developers to get remote jobs. This is currently in a working state, so we are still building the platform as we have the community running. So we are, like I said before, we have created an Android space where developers collaborate. We have this running on our WhatsApp group and Slack channels. So if you want to join the channels, we'll add links on the chat below. We had weekly and monthly challenges going on. We have a few people who won, Florence and Kelvin. I would invite them a bit later so that they can give their story on how the challenges have helped improve their coding skills or their ability to collaborate. And we are currently creating free REST APIs for testing. So soon you're gonna see them on our platform. And we also provide a space where developers share their apps, their libraries, and articles. We always retweet people's, if you're a developer, we retweet your projects, your apps. So if you have apps running, make sure you tag at Ardejob, we'll retweet it and we'll showcase it on you. But immediately we have our website running, we'll also showcase the best few articles and apps. Yeah, so in a nutshell, that is what we are doing. We hope to provide free Android resources or link you to certain scholarship courses so that you can join and learn and collaborate with teams. Yeah, so that's what we do in a nutshell. I would love to invite Florence. I think she's in. Florence, to give her story. She is from Kenya. She won our very first weekly challenge. I would love her to give her story and how she found the challenges. Florence, you're welcome.
Thank you, Aisha. So, hello guys. My name is Florence Njeri, a soon-to-be software engineering graduate. I found out about Ardejob on Twitter, and the moment they posted their first challenge, I joined in since I was looking for a way that I can level up my skills and build a portfolio. So when I get out of school, I can get a list of projects that I can showcase to recruiters. So I won the first challenge. It was a recipe book UI challenge, which we built using mock data. Through this challenge, I learned how to create pixel perfect designs from a given wireframe. So I would like to encourage each and every developer who is watching, if you want to level up your skills or build a portfolio, you can join in the Ardejob challenges. Not only will you learn, but you'll also belong to a team of amazing Android developers who are always ready to help you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Florence. I would love to invite Calvin. I'm unable to say his second name proudly, but I'd love to invite him. He's from Ghana. He has won 2 challenges, which is an amazing achievement from this guy. I would love to hear his story and how the challenges have been helping him. Calvin, you're welcome.
Thank you, Asha. Hello, everyone. My name is Kelvin from Ghana. I'm a software engineer at Infodas Ghana Limited. I got to know Ardejob on Twitter as when they tweet their first challenge. I got excited and joined the platform and won 2 challenges. It was fun creating these apps and sometimes a little bit challenging since I also work on other projects, which I have to dedicate some time in completing these tasks. I also joined their WhatsApp group with these great developers who were willing to help a buddy in terms of development challenges. I got to know a couple of things through the challenge. As a developer, you shouldn't always be in your comfort zone, but to add new skills. And completing these tasks, I've been able to explore more work without my workflow I usually do at work. And I can say I've achieved that from exploring these library requirements in these challenges, and it's a benefit, I must say. The little I can say about Ardejob is they have a very great developers who are willing to help anybody, and the kind of challenges that they give is so much into details, and it forces you to be out of your scope. And I think doing all these challenges is a benefit, and you're also building your portfolio for yourself. These challenges are great to be on your resume, and even if you are employed already, some of these challenges may push you out of your comfort zone. So I think it's a great to be part of Ardejob community, and let's help grow. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Calvin. That's an amazing story from you. So before I invite our guest speakers today, I would love to share a few rules. If you go to your chat section, you can see I have shared a few rules I'd love you to follow. So if our speakers are speaking, I would love to make sure your mic is on mute so that we don't interrupt their session. And if you have any questions or you want to, or a suggestion, you can use the chat section or you can raise your hand. I think you know where on your screen, you can see 3 dots written more. So there's a place where you can raise your hand. We'll be able to choose you. You can ask any questions and and we'll be able to get the speakers to answer you. Also, make the most out of this. I would love you to share on Twitter, use the hashtags developer paths to remote jobs, and make sure to tag us so that we can retweet. So make noise on Twitter also. Yeah, so thank you. Would love to invite our first guest speaker, Isa. He is a CTO at Savix, and he's gonna give us an amazing session. I'd love to invite him.
Yeah, hi. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, hi. So I'm Isa Goudi. I'm Chief Technology Officer at Savix, which is a Belgian company. And basically, this company is working in health, and it works remotely. Like 90% of the resources we have, developers, etc., they are working from another country. So I think that's why Wisdom invited me here, and so I'm really happy to help you see the challenges on how to be recruited from another country, like from Europe to Africa, or the reverse, or from the US to Africa, or whatever. I'm gonna share my screen, but I don't have a lot of slides. Is it possible to share my screen? Yeah.
Yes, it's possible.
Okay. Yeah. It seems that I have to. Okay. Yeah, I cannot share my screen because I have to accept some security stuff from the MacBook. So no need. It's only like a few words. So what I wanted to share with you here, it will take a few minutes. What I wanted to share is how, as a chief technology officer, like when I recruit an IT, Android developer, or a software engineer, how do I proceed to see if the person is well fit for our company or not? And so the first step, I think it's really important, and much more important than for a physical job, is the PDF or the resume you will send, like the CV you will send. And so this is really important because it's not even me who checks the CV or the resume at the first wave. It's another person, and this person is not an IT. Usually in the companies for the remote job, you have one person who is HR, and this person will check the CVs, the resumes, and they will the CV has to contain all the information which is needed for you to be accepted as a remote developer, because it's not the same. Like you will not be in the same physical space, etc. And in a CV for a remote job, what we need to see is that you are autonomous enough, and autonomous enough means that you worked in another experience, showing that you have like the skills to be on your own, because it's really different from having like your boss or manager in the same space. And so I will insist on it, like in your resume, when you send your CV or whatever, do not hesitate to put all the things which will help you to get the job, which means that even if you worked, for example, in a charity or for a church or whatever, if you've done something in an association or something like this, put it in your resume, because it's not IT that you don't have to put it. And this is really important information. The second step, what I really like to do is to check the LinkedIn. Like when you build your LinkedIn page, I insist on it. It needs to be really simple, and we need to find all the information about how you operate and what is your experience, what are your education, and most important is your level in English, for example, because I see a lot of LinkedIn pages where English is not put in, and maybe the person speaks also English. And this is really determining, because when you are recruiting somebody from remote, you know that you are in competition with a lot of people, which means that I only have 2 minutes for the resume or the LinkedIn page I receive. So which means that the LinkedIn needs to be really soft, straight to the point, and add it in your resume also in the PDF, put a link on it. And yeah, another side which is really important, it's being on time for the interview. Like it needs to be the same as for the physical interview. Like if you have an interview at 3 p.m. or whatever, be there at 2:55, which is really important, so that you are not missing, and you show to the recruiter that even if we are remote, we have still the same rules, which are like being on time. And linked to this one also, there is something which is really important. It's connectivity. I had a lot of interviews which were not okay because of one thing, because of internet. And so I'm not saying that if you have a bad connection, like in your area, it means that you will never be recruited. But what I'm saying is, if you have a bad connectivity that day, it's better to say it directly during the meeting, like saying, usually I have a good connection, but today the connection is not good. And so the interviewer from Europe or whatever, as in Europe or in the US, we are not used to have issues with internet. You have to tell him that you have issues if you have issues. And if you don't have any issues, like buy the best 4G provider for your interview and go on with it. And the last thing is about the communication. Like when you are doing an interview, try to express yourself very well, which means that you don't have to use really good words or whatever, but you need to take the time to express yourself, because maybe there is a culture difference, maybe there is an accent difference, and the person on the other side needs to trust you and see that you are a person who is willing to be like connected to this, like from Europe to Africa or Asia to Africa or whatever. He needs to feel that you are willing to connect with this other culture. And once he felt this, it will be really smooth, and he will be like, okay, I think I trust this person and maybe we can work together. So yeah, I think that's it. Those are the points I check. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'm here for that.
Wow, that was amazing. I learned a lot too. I would love to open the floor for any questions. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and unmute your mic and you can ask. Okay, I'm gonna give it to Ketu. You're welcome. Please unmute your mic.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
We can hear you.
Hello, Ketu, we can't hear you.
Ketu. Okay, I'm gonna pass it to Joy as he sorts his issue. Odinaka Joy, you're welcome. Kindly unmute your mic.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Okay. Please, I just want to ask, in terms of preparing your resume, is there any length and someone should like a number of pages we are restricted to? Because, sometimes we have so many things we want to put on our resume, but we are looking at the length, so it won't get to like 3 pages or 2 pages. Just want to know if there is a maximum number of pages we should have on our resume. Thank you.
Yeah, so this question is really a great question, because it also goes on the culture side. So what I also said is that the culture is really important when you are preparing for an interview and creating your resume, which means that, for example, I give only 2 or 3 examples for the resume of the length of the resume. So in France, for example, if you are willing to work with a French company here and to be recruited with them from remote, in France, it's 1 page. And like the real maximum of at your career, it can be only 2 pages. Like when you have 20 years of experience, they will allow you to have 2 pages. If you have 2 pages and you worked only like 1 year, they will remove your CV directly, because it's like not respectful from the French side. And so if you are willing to have a job in UK, it will be different, because what they want is really to have the whole story about you. So it can be 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages, whatever. There is no issues with that. And for example, in Belgium, what we used to say is 2 pages is great, because the first page is speaking about yourself, and the second page is about like the experience, the education, etc. And yeah, so the length depends also on the country. And if you want to know, okay, I want to work for the US, what is a resume for the US length, etc., the length of the resume, what you need to do is type on Google and you type like, what's the basic length of a resume in the US? And once you have this information, you can create your resume or you modify it for the US. And the interviewer, like the person, the recruiter, will be really happy to see that you checked this cultural difference and that you adapted yourself to it. And so this is really important because it goes from the culture side. And which is really important also on the resume, depending on the culture, is that, for example, if you are sending a resume to French people or Belgian people, they are willing to have the hobbies. Like the hobbies, what are you doing outside of your job? And this is really important for them. And for example, in another country, like an English country or whatever, maybe it's for them, it's maybe disrespectful to have like a lot of hobbies or whatever. But in France and Spain and Belgium, it's really respectful to say that you are, for your hobbies, you do music, for your hobbies, you do swimming, you do going to church or whatever. And so it's really nice to check on Google what are the cultural differences for the country you want to work with.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm going to give it back to Ketu, unless he has forgotten his question. Ketu? As he tries to sort his issue, Chukua Uchenna, I hope I said that right, has sent a question. What are the things needed to get your first job without experience?
Yeah, so this is also a great question. What I love to say also when I have this question is that, because it seems like it's a paradox. Like when you are going to education, you finish your education and then you want to go to a job, and all the jobs on the internet, you will see that they ask for minimum 2 years. And so this is a paradox, but you have many possibilities to hack this system. And to hack the system, there is one possibility I used for myself when I was younger, like 20 years old, is that you have to accept contracts without being paid, like for your hobbies. And I've done this from like 17 years old until my 20 years old. And so it's like, for example, you have, I don't know, a business next to your house, or your father or your mother, they have a friend, and this friend has a business and they want a simple website or a simple application on the Android or something like this. Do not hesitate to take this time and do not ask money or whatever, and do something with it. Do something for this person. because it will allow you to have a portfolio. And so when I see a resume with somebody who is finishing the education and he never worked in a company, but he has a portfolio, like, and he has the links of his application he made for his friends or whatever. And if I see this, I will take the time and check if this person, okay, maybe she doesn't have any experience, but she created herself some experience. Like she took her responsibility and she got some portfolio experiences. And so for me, this is really important. So this is one possibility to hack the system of getting the first experience. The second possibility is to, in your CV, what you need to do also is to put the projects you've done during education. And I see a lot of resumes who are not putting the projects. When you are in master's or bachelor or whatever education you are doing, you will do basically projects with 2 persons, 3 persons, describe them. Say that you've done this and this, that you presented this and this, and during this project you used Java or something like programming language framework. You put a lot of information. And this will help you, like, showing that you are ready to take responsibilities. And the last thing about hacking the system is, do not put as a title that you are a software engineer or Android developer if you never worked as Android developer. If you never worked as an Android developer, please put junior Android developer or junior software engineer, because it will show that you know your value and you are not trying to cheat the system. And this way it will help the recruiter to be in trust with you, saying that, okay, he knows that he doesn't have any experience, but he wants to fight the fight. And he's put, like, he's a junior, so junior software engineer or junior developer. And he put his experience from education, and he put maybe a paragraph saying that he's really willing to work and he's really willing to gain the trust of the recruiter.
Thank you so much, Isa Guti. I'm going to ask the last question. And in case there are other questions, we're going to answer them at the end of the sessions. So I'm going to ask two of them together. So one is, must you have all the job requirements before applying for a remote job? I mean, the tech stack. And the second question is, why do employers hire already made developers instead of hiring the young and upcoming ones and bringing them up to standard?
Okay, so is it the question from DevToby? Yeah, must you have all the job requirement before? Okay, so to answer this question about the requirement, I would say from my own experience, I never took the information about the requirement for me. Like when I want to go for to send my resume, I really don't check the requirement. What I check is what will be the daily job. If the job will be like to do some testing, to do some QA, developing, analyzing, documentation, those stuff. Because what I know is that a programming language or a framework, it's possible, like really quickly, to be up to date on this. Because as a programmer, as an Android developer, as a software engineer, during your education and your experiences, what you've done is that you learned a way of thinking, a logical way. Like, it's mathematics. It's not about which programming language. I'm not saying that programming language is all the same or whatever, but what we know is that what we want to see as a recruiter is to see that this person knows at least 1 or 2 programming languages, because otherwise it will be really really not really quick for you to learn a new one. So if you see that you are, for example, willing to work with, I don't know, if you are a software engineer and you only know Java and C, and you see that JavaScript is mandatory for this job, send your resume and if you can add some information and saying that you are willing to learn this the language and you have the skills to learn the language, etc., the recruiter will be okay. So he's willing to learn it. Maybe you can ask him also that you can take 2 weeks before starting the job to learn by yourself the programming language or whatever. So yeah, for me it's really not a blocking point. I think it was the first one. And the second one, which one is it? I think I have, no. Why do employers hire already made developers instead of hiring the young and upcoming ones and bring them up to standard? Yeah, this one is also a great question. The thing is that the employers and the recruiters, what they want to do usually is, it's not the best system to be like So what I was saying is that, sorry, the question to remember, because yeah, hiring the young. So what I was saying is that, to be really transparent, the issue with that is that usually when the management is asking for a new developer, they always ask to recruit a new developer, but too late. And so what they want to do is to recruit somebody who is ready in the 2 months or 1 month or whatever. So they think that when they recruit somebody with more experience, the person will be able to work directly. But this is not this is not really true. What is true, and what is from my experience true, is that when you are willing, when you are young and you are willing to work and you are willing to know a lot of to have a lot of skills, you will be much more motivated than a senior one. And so this is, I think, if the recruiter is smart enough, and if he's willing to accept the fact that the young people are much more motivated and the senior ones are less motivated, but they have more experience, and so the two of them, like the senior and the junior, can fulfill the whole story on when you have a team developer. And so I think, yeah, it's a biased system, so it's an issue in the system. But what you can do is, as I said, add in your portfolio some experiences to show them that maybe you are young by the age, but you started to work on it from like 17 years old or something like this. And this makes the difference, because when you show that you are willing to work, etc., you are not young on the resume. You will be an experienced person, even if you are young. And so try to deal with the system. And also, if you are sending your resume via LinkedIn or email, try to write something saying that you know that you are young, but you have the capacity and you are motivated. And this is really important. Like, if you want to explain something, please put it in the email and say that you know the issues, or you know that you are young, but you have the possibility to go further than that.
Great. Thank you so much, Isa. I would address all the other questions immediately after our next session. I would love to invite Anyedi. He is the program manager at Google. And I'm sure he has very valuable input for all of us. Welcome, Anyedi.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you can.
I'm wondering if you can see me. I don't know if my video is available or it's blocked by the host. But anyway, hi everyone. My name is Anyedi. I currently work as a program manager on the developer ecosystem team at Google. I'm based in Lagos, Nigeria, and I overlook our developer ecosystem, developer relations activities across sub-Saharan Africa. Is it possible to mute those who are not talking? Because I'm getting a lot of background and I'm a bit distracted. So please, if you're not saying anything or you want to say a question, just mute yourself, or if the host can mute everyone. So the developer ecosystem team at Google is a team that is responsible, or that it has a mission, very simple mission, to make developers all over the world successful, using or choosing or making sure that Google technologies are your first choice. We do acknowledge that there are various platforms all over the world, various providers, big, small, specialized, and general. And you have a lot of options when you want to decide on cloud hosting, or where to put your app, or what kind of services to connect to. But our job, we try to do, is solicit a lot of feedback, give a lot of advocacy and awareness. What we do is we run a number of programs, and programs are everything from building communities to running a grand conference like Google I/O, to writing documentation, to partnering with institutions, training institutions like Pluralsight or Coursera or Udacity to create content. And I think in even some situations, you have us working with partners to enable them, do better or do more with our APIs. So if I take a step back and give you a classic example, please don't necessarily quote me, but if you think of a company like maybe an Uber or Lyft or a Bolt, they leverage services like Google Maps. They could host some of their services on Google Cloud. They could use TensorFlow. So our team will make sure that the APIs exist, make sure that it's updated, and then when we get feedback from these partners, so like I said, the bottom line is to help the developer or the company or the influencer or the startup succeed using Google and open technologies. So I personally, my major focus in Sub-Saharan Africa, that is Central, Eastern, Western, and Southern Africa, is really about building communities. So our flagship developer program is the Google Developer Groups, GDG. So I manage and help the growth of GDGs across 48 countries in Sub-Saharan Africa. Probably present in about 39 to 40. That number is increasing every day. We cover about, we have about 150, 160 groups. And each of these groups is run by an organizing team of about 2 to 3 to 4. So on a daily basis or on a regular basis, I'm interacting with about 450 organizers of Google Developer Groups. And each of these people go on to host their own local meetups, their own regional groups. And the number ends up being something close to about 100,000 developers every year are sort of within my purview, so to speak. So even when you talk about influence, that is what I have access to. So I just put a link. Sorry, I put that link and I think it went only to Asha, but I will try and make this go to everyone. So you can find out about the GDG here. And if you go to this link and you do filter, I hope that link is correct. You can filter for Africa, and then you will see a lot more around what of the work we do. The second aspect of the work I do is very related to GDG. It's called the DSC program, the Developer Students Clubs program. And I would say DSC is an evolution of GDG that understands the special requirements or the special opportunity that the people convening in the community are in an academic environment. So they could be on a university or an institutional or polytechnic campus, which means they're already together. They could meet frequently. They could meet every night. They could work on projects together. They could do so much just by the fact that they are all together. By contrast, in GDG, to set up a meetup, they have to make an announcement, find a speaker, arrange a venue, projector. It could be in a commercial venue. It could be in an innovation space or a hub. But it sort of takes a little bit of effort to get all that together. And for that, they can have meetups ideally once a month or once a quarter. We're fine if they're able to meet once a quarter. But with students, well, the mindset is already school. It's learning. They're all together in the same environment. Well, not during a pandemic, but we take those unique opportunities of the fact that probably they're younger, they're all together, and then there's an opportunity for them to just learn, because at that point in their life, their primary objective is to learn, right? So we want to make the best use of that specific opportunity to provide a lot of resources for students. Yeah, I can stop here, for your next questions, and I can tell you a couple of other things about how we are even trying to provide more opportunity and resources for people to succeed as Google, and then other things I do in my daily routine, what my passions are, and some of the things I'm working on right now.
Okay, so that was amazing. We appreciate all the good things Google is doing. I'm sure most of us would love to hear about your passions or other opportunities that are there for junior developers and intermediate developers to join in. And I'd also open the floor to questions. right now?
Okay, I can start with an opportunity I just posted on the chat, which is the DSC Leads program. So for each of the DSCs, we currently have 100 developer student clubs around sub-Saharan Africa. We're trying to increase that number to about 300 or 400. And right now, the applications are on and have been extended till the end of May, so till May 31. A DSC lead is an individual on campus who will, on behalf of his school team, school club, really promote training and continuously share opportunities and build a network of people on behalf of the school. It's not an affiliated program to the school. It's just a volunteer program where we recognize someone on campus. And then we try to help that person find a faculty advisor or someone in the university management that can help them in scaling the program. But it's really all about learning. They do workshops, they build apps, try to solve local problems. They do a lot of things. And just speaking to what Isa said, a DSC lead or DSC club or a developer student club is an amazing place to try to gain experience, try and build a portfolio. We focus DSCs on building local problems, local solutions to local problems. We do things around design thinking workshops. We encourage them to go out and speak to users. If I speak to one of the projects that was part of the solution challenge from last year, for which a developer student club in Uganda won the global challenge for, across the world, out of about maybe 700 or 800 entries. They built an immunization calculator app. So it's a small app that tells you by the age of the baby what immunizations to give. If you know anything about that in Africa or Nigeria, you usually have that on a scrawny sheet of paper where they write what vaccines have been given. Then you also have to figure out which vaccine you're supposed to give at 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months. And most parents just have that as a card that they get when the child was born, and then they throw it away somewhere, and then it's either dirty or torn. I can't even find my own. I have 3 kids, and I don't even know where their immunization cards are. And sometimes it's a pain to know when next immunization is due. Something as good as getting a reminder that alerts you that, oh, your child is turning 6 months and then is due for BCG or this and that. That was such a beautiful app. And that app went on to be recognized, I think, by the World Health Organization and then the UN. So they started working with the developer, trying to build it. Someone invested a little bit of time and effort in it. And today, even that developer has a full-time job just straight out of school. And in his interview, just by reflecting the fact that he had built an app, such as that immunization calculator app, that gave him a really a lot of traction. It was I'll say pretty much a very crude app. I can try to find the link if I can get it. But if I don't get it, just believe me that it did happen, and that immunization calculator was built by a couple of students. Other people built things like grade point average calculators, and augmented reality maps of their school. Yeah, so a lot of things like that we tend to see. So it's a great way to build your portfolio. So if you're a student on campus, it is something that I would really encourage people to get involved in. We also partner with other teams within Google, like the developer training team, to offer things like the Google Africa Developer Scholarship. And in implementing that in region, we've had partners like Udacity, Pluralsight, and Andela, who help us implement it with things like learning communities, subscriptions to platforms. And I tell people that I never had these opportunities when I started out. And I really wish more and more people would, jump on all these opportunities that exist right now, because it could really be a big leverage or a big opportunity for you to gain that needed experience when it comes to jobs and job opportunities. Yeah, so in terms of opportunities, I would say keep track of these opportunities. These opportunities are not unique to Google, and I say this very openly. If I was in anybody's situation right now, I wouldn't swear by one brand gospel. There are scholarships and hackathons from everyone, Facebook, IBM. Try and open up your horizon to tap into as many of these things as possible. I say with the caveat, you should try and get as many opportunities as possible, but you also have to learn to filter and focus on one specific opportunity or one specific track at some point. So at the beginning, you may not know where you belong. I think for most developers, most software engineers, it's either you go web or mobile at first, even though right now we're kind of like in a cloud first world, and cloud ends up being sort of like the back end for either your web app or your mobile app. I mean, cloud could be a profession as like DevOps. Back in the days when I was younger, we used to have things like A+ CompTIA certification, you know, basic fundamentals about computers and networking, Network Plus, and all those things. So these days it's probably possible to go straight into DevOps, right? And be part of like a system administrator or reliability engineer and stuff. But I think getting started, you should obviously go the web or mobile track. That's web or maybe Android, or if you want to, you know, be a bit more adventurous, you could try something like, you know, Flutter or React Native or something. But even with React, you still have to have, I think, some HTML background. I'm not an expert at React and React Native and all that. So this is the direction we can go in terms of all the opportunities. Okay. Yes, we're going to end very soon. Are there any questions very specific to what I'm saying? I think if you follow me on Twitter, you follow Ardejob, you can get a lot of opportunities. More important than not, I think it's most important you stay plugged into communities, broad communities like GDG, developer circles. Totally very important for you to get needed experience. I mean, if you're in Kenya, there's Android 254, the things like Follow Africa. The community is really very important. And then when you get to specific things like Ardejob that guide you towards getting a job, I mean, it's a wonderful compliment. And as you've heard on this call, I didn't know about, you know, Belgians and the French liking my hobbies on my CV. Maybe when next I'm applying, I'm going to add that if I need to apply. But yes, you see the kind of information that you get served when you are a member of the community and you're active. So please, you can feel free to follow me on Twitter if you don't already. And personally, at this point, I am on a machine learning or learning machine learning path. I've been doing this for almost 30 months on and off. And right now, what I'm doing is I am learning and I'm sharing exactly what I'm learning to people. So if you want to join, I even have a webinar later on today. You can follow me on Twitter, or you can sign up for my newsletter where you can find out a lot more information. So I'm going to keep quiet now and let the hosts run the rest of the meeting.
Thank you so much, Anyedi. I have seen Awal MS shared the blog post, the immunization calculator app you talked about in the chat. And if you haven't seen it, it's there. And I have shared, you've also shared your Twitter account on the chat. So if you want to pin him on Twitter, that's where to find him. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. I personally have learned a lot. I believe you have learned or grasped a few things. We will edit this call and share the recorded version later on. But thank you everyone for joining in. I think it's time we say goodbye, unless I have not addressed any question. Is there any question I have missed out?
I just want to say thank you for this platform and this audience. It was nice to meet you, Isaac Kuti. I hope to connect with you further. I hope you can find me a remote job side gig, maybe. But yeah, great tips and tricks. Absolutely wonderful. And if you ever think of what you would love to do with this, our large community, in terms of building the pipeline, we're very happy to work with Ardejob, with the GDG, with the DSE, send you, I would say recommendations, not like official Google recommendations, but just community recommendations. And we can always push your message to our circa 100,000 audience in sub-Saharan Africa.
Wow, thank you so much, Anyedi. Isa, I think you have had, Anyedi would love to get a remote side gig. You should connect with each other.
Yeah, thank you, Anyedi. And yeah, of course, if somebody wants to contact me or whatever, you can use Twitter or LinkedIn, and we can discuss about it. Because as I said on the beginning, I work at Savix, and Savix is fully remotely jobs. And yeah, it's 4 years now that we are doing this. And so if you have any questions, if you want to join Savix or another company who does the same thing as Savix, I would be happy to help you and answer your questions on LinkedIn or whatever. Yeah, I really love connecting with other cultures and work with other cultures than the one I have. So yeah, I'm really happy to be involved in this community. And yeah, thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you too.
Thank you, Aisa, for your time, and thank you, Anedi, also. And sorry, everyone, for the awful videos and some other people added. So we edit the video, and we'll have to move those parts. Yeah. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining.